This is crazy, but Sydney Sweeney's newest movie just became one of the biggest box office flops of all time.
The new Sydney Sweeney movie, box office bupkis.
A lot of Oscar buzz coming up, a lot of films coming out. How does it feel, though, that it's an advertisement that gets the most attention these days?
I'm so excited for everybody to see Christie Martin.
There's a lot of Oscar buzz. Are you excited about everyone seeing this?
I'm just excited for Christie.
Sydney Sweeney has been all over the internet lately, and people can't stop talking about her. Ever since that American Eagle jeans ad blew up into a full-scale controversy, the conversation around her has only gotten louder. And now there's a whole lot of confusion online. Folks arguing over what's actually true, what's exaggerated, and what's straight up misinformation. It's gotten messy fast. Lately, Sydney has been popping up everywhere, walking through Central Park next to Scooter Braun like something out of a staged photo op, rocking that sharp fox cut bob that everyone keeps debating. She's also been way more vocal on social media after spending part of the summer laying low because of the backlash from that American Eagle situation. People swear they can feel the rebrand happening in real time. She's especially visible right now because she just released a new movie titled Christie. The film tells the story of real-life boxer Christie Martin, a total trailblazer who became the first woman ever signed to a promotional contract under legendary boxing promoter Don King. On top of that, Christie was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame back in 2020, which has brought even more attention to the project. Sydney's fans are hyping the movie like crazy, while her critics are questioning every move she makes. And with the timing of her recent public appearances, a lot of people think she's trying to shift the narrative hard. Things are heating up again, and everyone seems to have something to say. Christie Martin's real-life story is absolutely wild and painfully intense. Back in 2010, she survived a horrifying attack. She was stabbed, shot, and left for dead by James Martin, her trainer and husband of 19 years. In the film, he's played by Ben Foster, while Christie's real story highlights her work as a strong LGBTQ advocate and the life she rebuilt, including her marriage to a woman. Her journey is powerful, complicated, and emotional, and the movie leans into that in a big way. Inside the award season bubble, Sydney Sweeney's performance has people talking nonstop. Some say she snapped into this role so hard that she deserves award recognition, while others argue about the transformation, the physical changes, the weight gain, the complete shift in her appearance. Everyone keeps pointing out how she looks nothing like herself while playing Christie, and that alone has already sparked heated debates online and in industry circles. People were already whispering about this back in January and February, wondering whether Sydney would end up in the Oscar conversation. The buzz was real, and folks were watching closely to see how it all played out. But here's where things get complicated. This type of movie was never going to be a massive blockbuster with sold-out theaters across America. It's a smaller, character-driven film, the type meant to show in select cities and attract film lovers who actually follow these indie-style releases. But the controversy around Sydney changed the vibe completely. A lot of people admitted they didn't feel like showing up to support the film because of everything that was unfolding around her, and that hesitation was loud. This isn't a movie that screens everywhere. Only certain theaters in major cities even have it. Places that usually play smaller budget movies. And even there, you could feel the tension. Big hubs like New York City usually get these releases first, and the audiences here are quick to spot when a film has drama attached to it. People saw the movie pop up on apps and in theater listings, but they also saw the backlash growing online. And honestly, a lot of viewers said they probably would have been more curious about watching Christie if all this controversy hadn't blown up around Sydney at the exact same time. The drama definitely pushed some people away, whether they admit it publicly or not. The movie didn't end up on a lot of people's must-watch lists, and honestly, it makes sense. It wasn't that viewers were running around announcing they were boycotting it, but with so many big films dropping back-to-back these past months, Christie slowly slipped down the list for a lot of folks. And whether people want to admit it or not, the American Eagle controversy definitely played a part in that. It left a weird vibe around Sydney Sweeney, and plenty of people weren't exactly rushing to see her in anything new, and that's before counting the ones who were actively boycotting her projects on purpose. The whole situation pushed a lot of viewers away, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Now, Box office conversations are always messy. People treat ticket sales like some deep measurement of art, when it's way more complicated than that. And when the wrong people get involved in that discussion, it becomes flat out annoying. But one thing is true. When a smaller film becomes a headline only because it made very little money, that's usually a bad sign for award season chances. And the internet wasted 0 seconds dragging Sydney for it. People were quick to point out that the new crowd she's been appealing to online, the ones who hype aesthetic posts and influencer-style content, were never going to show up for a gritty biopic about a lesbian boxer who survived domestic abuse. That's just not the audience that buys tickets for films like this. Now, Sydney has spoken up about everything going on, and we'll get into that. But before diving into her response, there are a couple of random plot twists floating around online that need clearing up. One of the wildest ones is coming from the Daily Mail, claiming that Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney are beefing on the Euphoria set again. The rumor mill has been spinning nonstop, with people insisting there's tension between them, even though nothing solid backs it up. Things are getting messy fast, and the internet is grabbing every crumb it can find. It's honestly wild that Euphoria conversations are jumping back into the spotlight this close to 2026, especially since the show has been quiet for so long. Yet people keep bringing up talk about tension on set, especially between Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney, and the internet is eating it up. The Daily Mail has been pushing the narrative hard, and even though nothing official has dropped from the cast, fans are convinced there's something going on behind the scenes. And with the way people talk about that set, nothing ever fully surprises anyone anymore. Then there's this whole situation exploding on Twitter where big accounts are claiming Sydney Sweeney's PR allegedly reached out to them after they posted criticism about the film. The screenshots going around show a message that reads, "Hi Eric, would you please mind updating the headline for us to say that despite low box office the audience has spoken, we are 99% positive on the popcorn meter. Box office aside, this one's a win in all the ways that matter. We're so proud to back independent cinema and share a story that genuinely deserves to be seen." People scrolling past this have been reacting like crazy, calling it desperate, suspicious, or just straight up unexpected. And because it spread so fast, everyone started throwing their own theories into the conversation. As more posts popped up claiming similar things, it turned into a chain reaction practically overnight. But the twist that really sent everyone over the edge? Ruby Rose suddenly jumping into the mix on Threads and sounding off about the whole situation. She came out of nowhere with her own take, and anyone who remembers her internet era knows she always brings a certain kind of energy with her. And speaking of Ruby Rose, let's talk about that era for a second because it ties into the way people online react to her even now. Back around 2014 to 2015, when Orange is the New Black was at its peak, she had the entire internet in a chokehold. Every straight girl from high school had a Ruby Rose obsession moment. It was like a full cultural wave. Edits everywhere, crush memes everywhere. The whole internet treated her like the blueprint for an edgy crush. Fast forward to now, and she's suddenly resurfacing right in the middle of Sydney Sweeney discourse, adding fuel to a situation that was already turning chaotic. The timing alone has people connecting dots and wondering why she chose this exact moment to speak up. Back in the Orange is the New Black era, the internet went through one of the strangest collective phases ever. Every girl online was suddenly tweeting things like, "Oh my god, I've never been into women before, but Ruby Rose is so attractive." It became this huge shared moment, like everyone just collectively decided she unlocked a whole new side of the internet. It was everywhere. Timelines, comment sections, memes, just constant posts about how she was the exception to everyone's usual type. People from every high school across the country were posting the same exact thing, acting like Ruby Rose was some sort of cultural awakening. It was so specific and so intense that it still sticks out in people's minds today. And then came the discourse about how cringe it was. But honestly, it was one of those weird, unforgettable internet eras that had everyone participating whether they wanted to or not. And now Ruby Rose is suddenly part of the Sydney Sweeney situation, and her entrance into the conversation was fiery. She dropped a message saying, "The original Christie Martin script was incredible, life-changing. I was attached to play Cherry. Everyone had experience with the core material. Most of us were actually gay. It's part of why I stayed in acting. Losing roles happens all the time. For her PR to talk about it flopping and say SS did it for the people, none of the people want to see someone who hates them parading around pretending to be us. You're a Creon and you ruined the film. Period. Christie deserved better. Her statement hit the internet like a storm. People were shocked that she came forward this boldly, especially with such strong words about the film and Sydney's involvement. It added another layer to everything, and fans immediately started connecting the dots, rewatching her old interviews, and digging into the earlier stages of the project to see where her version of events fits into the bigger picture. But things didn't stop there. Sydney Sweeney herself eventually responded to the conversation surrounding the film's box office performance and her participation in the project. She made a statement saying, "If Christie gave even one woman the courage to take her first step towards safety, then we will have succeeded." Her response sparked even more discussion online, with people debating what she meant, how she views the film's impact, and whether the message connects to everything happening around the movie right now. And with all these moving parts, the situation keeps getting bigger and more complicated by the day. Sydney's full statement continued with her saying she was proud of the film because, in her words, art isn't always about numbers. Sometimes it's about impact. And that line sent the internet spiraling again. People started breaking down what she meant, what she didn't say, and what she might be hinting at with that choice of wording. What makes all of this even more interesting is how different the public reaction might have looked if the American Eagle situation hadn't blown up. Before that whole mess, a lot of the same right-wing men who once mocked Sydney, saying she wasn't attractive or marketable, were suddenly celebrating her. And that flip alone already raised eyebrows online. Meanwhile, the more progressive side of the internet, the exact crowd who would have normally supported a film like Christie, ended up torn and unsure about how to handle the movie once the controversy hit. Without all of this tension surrounding her, plenty of people probably would have defended the film's performance harder, especially since movies with queer themes or true story narratives usually get a lot more protection online. And some viewers still insist they don't believe Sydney had any harmful intentions at all, saying the ad was handled poorly by American Eagle or interpreted in a way she didn't expect. Others feel the messaging didn't land right and want accountability regardless of intent. And here's where things get extra complicated. Many expected that if Sydney were ever asked a direct question about the deeper implications of the ad, she would take the chance to clearly distance herself from anything harmful. Even if she didn't personally agree with the criticism, most people assumed she'd still make a strong statement because, optics-wise, that would have been the cleanest move. During a recent live stream, a lot of viewers jumped into the conversation with their own takes. Some said Sydney shouldn't have to comment on anything and that people were pushing narratives onto her. Others argued that staying silent only fuels more speculation, especially for someone who's been under a microscope the entire year. The debate became heated fast, with different sides insisting their interpretation made the most sense, and now the whole situation sits in this giant gray zone. Everyone reading the same moments in completely different ways, and the tension around her public image just keeps growing. A lot of people online keep saying Sydney didn't really do anything, but there's another side to the conversation that keeps coming up. When a certain corner of the internet starts treating someone like their personal symbol, making memes comparing them to other women, calling them over-the-top names, and hyping them up in ways that clearly push a specific agenda, it creates a whole new dynamic around that celebrity. And when those same people start labeling someone as their ideal, constantly defending them in ways that make everyone uncomfortable, people begin expecting a response from the celebrity at the center of it all. So when Sydney got that soft, easy interview question that would have allowed her to distance herself from that crowd, and she didn't take the opportunity, the public reaction shifted hard. A lot of people felt like she let that moment slip, and because of that, many feel she lost the benefit of the doubt, especially with how fast that particular fan base attached themselves to her image. There's no doubt Sydney is proud of the movie, and Christie Martin's story absolutely deserves representation. But the choices made after the controversy, intentional or not, ended up putting her in a complicated spot. She leaned into the attention from this new crowd, and now her audience looks completely different from the one that would have naturally supported a more progressive-coded biopic like Christie. And that switch has consequences. Her newer fan base is extremely loud online, constantly arguing with people on Twitter, but they're not the ones buying tickets for films like this. They want discourse, not cinema. Meanwhile, the viewers who usually come out to support stories like Christie Martin's are stepping back because they don't feel aligned with the energy around Sydney right now. At the end of the last video about this whole situation, the point was made that sometimes it's not about what you say, it's about what you don't say. And Sydney, whether she meant to or not, ended up staying quiet at moments where people expected clarity. That silence has now created a huge divide between her and the exact audience who would have defended her work the loudest. And if someone still believes she didn't need to speak up or clarify anything, well, that seems to be the same belief she's sticking to herself. The fallout from that choice is what everyone's watching now, because the impact is showing up in real time across her fan base, her press, and her projects. The truth is, the world does not operate the way it used to, not even close. Everything now is loud, fast, public, and instantly turned into discourse the second it hits the timeline. And this whole situation around Sydney fits right into that new reality. It actually brings up something that Trey Parker and Matt Stone once talked about: the creators of South Park. They spoke in an interview about how the show has shifted over time, especially now that it streams on Paramount and leans heavily into modern political chaos. It got to the point where South Park literally made an episode poking at the fact that people keep yelling, "South Park sucks now," and they turned that entire sentiment into a meta storyline. That's how deep culture has changed. People aren't just watching, they're reacting, analyzing, and arguing nonstop. In an interview with the New York Times, Parker and Stone broke it down clearly. It's not that we got all political, it's that politics became pop culture. And honestly, that hits exactly on what's happening with Sydney too. Because the moment the American Eagle controversy blew up, it stopped being just an ad situation. Even the White House decided to speak out about it, defending Sydney publicly. That alone shows how blurred everything has become. Years ago, celebrities had the luxury of staying silent. They could skip questions, avoid controversy, and vanish for a bit until the dust settled. Nobody demanded full essays or public alignments from them. Their personal beliefs weren't expected to be broadcast to millions. And politics? It used to sit in a whole separate lane. You didn't have to hear president's opinion on every pop culture situation the second it happened. The White House wasn't stepping in to address celebrity drama or social media uproars. But now everything is tangled together. Entertainment, politics, public outrage, stan wars, and cultural narratives all spin into one giant storm. This is the world Sydney is navigating now. A world where silence counts as a statement, reactions get dissected instantly, and every storyline gets amplified into something much bigger than it was originally meant to be. Whether people like it or not, everything shifted the second a reality TV figure stepped into the presidency, and the ripple effect never stopped. This is the same person who once spent his free time tweeting about Kristen Stewart and Twilight, so of course that kind of behavior ended up bleeding into every corner of pop culture. It changed how public figures navigate the spotlight, and it changed what the world expects from them. Celebrities today are basically forced to state their stance on every major issue, because if they don't, the internet instantly starts assuming the worst. And yes, it's absolutely exhausting for them, but with how aggressively politics and pop culture have merged, it feels unavoidable. Every little thing gets pulled into the culture war now, whether the celebrity involved wants that or not. Just this week, Olivia Rodrigo had to yank one of her own songs off Instagram after ICE used it in a recruitment ad. She immediately blasted it as racist propaganda, making her position crystal clear for everyone watching. She didn't even get the choice to stay silent. The moment ICE used her song, the issue landed right in her lap. Meanwhile, the president has been posting videos with Taylor Swift's music playing in the background, and she hasn't said a word about it yet. So now people are analyzing her silence, trying to guess what it means, and spinning their own narratives because that's just how the online world works now. One artist speaks loudly, the other stays quiet, and suddenly both end up part of the political conversation regardless of their intentions. As long as this administration keeps turning culture into a weapon, celebrities are going to be dragged into these conversations whether they want to engage or not. The pressure is nonstop, the expectations are intense, and every artist knows they could be turned into the center of a political moment at any time. It's messy, it's chaotic, and it's the exact environment Sydney is operating in right now. These days, staying silent hits way different than it did years ago. Back then, celebrities could keep quiet to avoid drama, and fans respected that. But now, silence gets treated like a statement, and the internet instantly decides what it means without waiting for clarification. It's a harsh shift, and a lot of public figures, Sydney included, never prepared for this new level of spotlight pressure. The moment keeps growing, and it keeps rolling straight toward anyone caught in the center of it. Every time a celebrity tries to stay out of the chaos, the situation circles right back around, louder than before. And if they don't respond fast enough, the internet shapes the narrative for them. It feels non-stop, and honestly, it wears people down until there's barely anything left to control. So, let's talk. What do you think about Sydney's situation right now? Do you feel like silence hurts her more than it helps? And do you think the pressure on celebs today is fair or out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation is far from over. And before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and hit that comment section because I want to hear every opinion. Also, if you want the freshest updates on Sydney Sweeney and everything unfolding around her, check out my latest posts since the story keeps getting crazier by the day.